Well, as you can see, we're looking out at my bird feeders, and the little birdies are getting all fed. My feathered friends, and I enjoy it. I always look at them in the mornings. I start my coffee, and as it's brewing, I stare out this kitchen window and watch the birds come to eat their breakfast and share a little time with me. It's a little bit of pleasure, and it doesn't cost that much. There's always other ways you can cut back. So yeah, in these cold temperatures in the deep south of Alabama, we're having unseasonably cold. It's always important to feed the birds. But as you know, the cost of birdseed has been on the rise. And the last time I stocked up, which was just about a week or so ago, I learned something after spending a little time researching the different blends of birdseed. Yeah, I live in the deep south, so I want, in my mind, being an engineer and an analytical type of guy, to do the best for my birds here. So I was looking for the proper birdseed to feed my little feathered friends, and I landed upon the southern blend, but there's many more. There's eastern blend, there's midwestern blend, there's even western blend of a particular brand that I like to buy. But I learned something new when I looked into all the different blends. And maybe what I'm about to tell you and show you not only will be of interest to you, but can save you some money just by knowing this. It's a little hidden secret of the birdseed industry. And by knowing it, you'll be able to provide the proper seed and feed for your feathered friends too. So come on, let's go to the command center and let me share this secret with you. Here we are at the command center, and we're looking at Wagner's. They're a fine company, and they've been feeding my birdies for a long time. As you can see, last purchased January the 7th, 2024. But since I live in the South, it seemed to me that it should be obvious I need the Southern Regional Blend. And it costs $20.98. We'll just round that to 21. But like always, I read the bag and see what's all in it and what it contains. So we're going to flip to the back, and we're going to take a look at that. And I look at the crude protein, 9%. Crude fat, 4%. Crude fiber, max, 15%. And moisture is 13%. Remember those numbers, because they'll be important as we go along. And the ingredients are white millet, black oil, sunflower seed, cracked corn, milo, striped sunflower seed, and safflower seed. It's everything my birdies, my feathered friends, need as they get through these trying winter months. And this is what I purchased, as you can see. But when I purchased it, I had a little time on my hands, and I wanted to take a look back at what I had bought in the past. So the next one we're going to go to is the Eastern Blend, also from our fine friends at Wagner's. So here we are now at Wagner's Eastern Regional Blend. This is for those of you who obviously may not live in the South, and you're wanting to get the perfect blend of birdseed for your birdies where you live. And if you're on the East Coast, in the Northeast, this would probably be the blend that you would think, as I would too, would be just right for your feathered friends. And I've actually purchased this 3 times in the past. Last purchased in July the 28th, 2022. Now you might wonder why I don't purchase it anymore. Well, you can see it's $24.99. We'll say $25. It's $4 more than the Southern Regional Blend was. But is it what our Eastern birdie feathered friends need? Does it have something different than the Southern blend does. Let's take a look at that. So once again, we have to look right here on the back. Guaranteed protein, 9%. Now, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Crude fat minimum, 4%. Crude fiber max, 15%. And moisture max, 13%. And then we're going to look down in the ingredients. White millet, black oil sunflower seed, cracked corn, milo, striped sunflower seed, and safflower seed. Doesn't that all sound familiar? It sounds exactly like what was in the Southern blend. The only exception is the color of the bag and the fact that it's got different birdies on the bag too. But it'll cost you. So if you're living on the eastern side of the U.S., isn't this the same as a Southern blend? And could you save $4 too? I'm thinking you could, since now you know this. But it just doesn't stop there. Let's take a look at another regional blend. Now here again, we're looking at the Wagner's brand of birdseed and their different blends. And this is the Midwest regional blend. You know, if you're living out there in the Midwestern states of Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, and what have you, you'll probably be thinking, well, you want the exact right birdseed to feed your feathered friends. And this too shows some little birdies on the front. It looks sort of like the Eastern blend, but a different color too. But once again, to know if there's any difference, and it's just what our little feathered friends in the Midwest need, let's take a look at the back. So we got it on the back here. Guaranteed analysis. Crude protein, 9%. Crude fat, 4%. Crude fiber max, 15%. And moisture, 13%. Yes, exactly the same as the two we spoke previously about. But what about ingredients? Surely the Midwestern birds that come to your place prefer some different things. Ingredients: white millet, black oil sunflower seed, cracked corn, milo, striped sunflower seed, and safflower seed. Well, that all sounds familiar and sounds just what was like in the Southern blend and the Eastern blend too. You see where I'm going with all this? But it's only $20.98 or $21. $4 cheaper than the Eastern blend and the exact same price as the Southern blend. But it only gets better than this. And we're going to look at another one too. So now we're going to look at the Western regional blend from Wagner's. You know, for those of you who live out west in Colorado, California, New Mexico, Arizona, you know, all them states, Washington and Oregon. And I'm sure you got different birdies than we do. I would think you do. But what do they need to eat for where you live? You might be surprised. Let's take a look at the back and see just what's in the bag, so we'll all be informed and educated about the facts. Now understand, this is the highest priced birdseed that we've talked about, $27.14. So we're on the back. Let's take a look at it. Your guaranteed protein is 9%. Your crude fat's 4%. Your crude fiber max is 15%. And your moisture max is 13%. That's exactly the same guaranteed analysis as what was on the Southern blend, the Eastern blend, and the Midwestern too. But maybe there's a difference in the ingredients. Let's check it out. The ingredients are white millet, black oil sunflower seed, cracked corn, milo, striped sunflower seed, and safflower seed. Exactly the same. The only difference here is it'll cost you $27.14. Yep, over $6 more than the southern or midwestern blends, and it'll cost you over $3 more than the eastern blend. I'll bet you didn't know, because I didn't know. So you can see here was something else after knowing all this that I purchased back in January the 7th too. This was Farmer's Delight. Feed the birds, Wildbird food, and it's $19.98. Let's say $20. That was $1 less than what I paid for the Southern blend, so I saved $1. And by knowing what I now know, I could understand why saving $1 wasn't hurting my little feathered friends. But to know this, I had to go to the back. And here we are again on the back of the Farmer's Delight. Wildbird food with cherry flavor, which they're eating now, and that's what you saw on their feeders. And they seem to be loving it too. Guaranteed analysis, 9%. Crude fat, 4%. Crude fiber, 10%. And moisture, 13%. It seems to be the same. The only thing different with this one, which costs $1 less, is the crude fiber, instead of being 15, was 10%. And let's look at the ingredients. It's got milo, cracked corn, white millet, sunflower seed. Now it didn't say black or striped, it just says sunflower seed. So I don't know if it's got both. But in my mind, a sunflower seed is a sunflower seed. But let's take one last look from a different company that I've also bought too. Now, here we are at the KT Wildbird Food Basic Blend. It's 10 pounds. It's basically $10 for 10 pounds. And I bought two back on March the 7th in 2023 when all the other brands were so much higher. So it was $20 for 20 pounds equivalent to the 20-pound bags we've been discussing earlier. And I bought KT several times throughout the years. And birds seem to like it too. But exactly what's in it? Let's take a look at that. So we're back on the back. So let's check it out. And the first thing we want to look at is the guaranteed analysis. Crude protein, minimum, 8%. Well, if you were paying attention to the Wagner, there's at 9%. So it's got 1% less protein. Crude fat, minimum, is 5%, which the Wagner blends were 4. So it's got 1% more fat. Crude fiber max is 10%, which the different regional blends of Wagner's was 15, except for the Farmer's Delight, I think, was 10. And then you got moisture at 12%, where the Wagner's was 13. But where it gets interesting is down here in the ingredients. All they say is grain products, so you really don't know. And then it says black oil sunflower seed. And then they put vitamin A supplement and vitamin D3 supplement. But by looking at the bag, it appears to have white millet, because I'm very familiar with what that seed looks like. And also, it appears to have milo, cracked corn, and black oil sunflower seeds. And if I had to guess, safflower seeds. So is it any better or any worse than others? I would think not. So the point to this video, if you're a bird lover and you love feeding your birdies and your feathered friends and you want to do right, my advice to you would be read the back of the bag and write it down as you check through the different brands and whether they're cheaper or more expensive, because you want to really do right,
and get the specifics for your birds, make sure you're just not paying a higher price for something you could get far cheaper and it's the same. That's the whole point to the video. So hey, I hope it was a little education and informative and enjoyable too. So yeah, I'm going to get back to watching the birdies while I make my supper for tonight. So until I see you on that next episode of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood, y'all take care out there. Stay safe. Stay warm now, because it's bitter cold, especially here in the deep south. And let me know in the comments below the video what type of bird seed and what brand you use, and maybe even the reasons why and where you buy it. This is just what I do. And as always, may God bless you all as you bless those in your lives. And now we love you, and we're glad you stopped by. So hey, you know them all, the kitty crew, Cleo, Spooky, Speedy, on occasion Heathcliff, Fluffy Muffin, and of course the princess of the house, my sous chef, Gracie. See you once again. Goodbye for now.